Our today's story is Three Lovely Presents. But before beginning, subscribe to my channel. For more updates, click on the bell icon.
Father was going away for a whole week, and the three children were sad. They hated it when their father went away. "Mommy will miss you," said Janet. "So will we," said Dan. "We'll love to see you back on Saturday," said Rose. And they all gave their father a big hug. "I shall bring back three lovely presents for your garden, children," he said. "What will you bring, father?" asked Dan. "I shall bring a new wheelbarrow, a fine digging spade, and a green watering can," said father. "Good," said Dan, who longed for a spade to dig up his garden. "Lovely," said Janet, who had always wanted a wheelbarrow. "Oh," said Rosie, who simply loved watering her flowers. They were all good gardeners and had a little garden of their own.
"Good boy," said father. "Be good and help mommy all you can." Then he jumped into his car, started it, and off he went down the road for his journey.
Mother was going to be very busy while father was away. She was going to do some spring cleaning. "You can really help me a lot," she said to the children, "and Daddy will be so pleased to see everything shining and bright when he gets home." But dear me, when Mother found something she wanted Dan to do, he refused and wouldn't do it. It was when Mother found that she had come to an end of her soap powder, and she asked Dan to run down the street and fetch it for her. "I'm busy reading," said Dan. "You always ask me to do any work while I'm reading, Mommy." "Will you go for me, Janet?" said Mother, looking rather sad towards Janet. But Janet was busy too. She was washing her doll's dresses. "Can't I go when I finish this, Mummy?" she said. Rosie was busy tidying the toys cupboard. She looked up and said, "Mummy, I'll go," she said to Mummy. "It won't take me a minute to go there." And it didn't. She popped on her coat, ran down the road, and was back in a minute with the soap powder. Her mother was so pleased by her work. The next day, Mother wanted some daffodils picked out of the garden and put into a vase on the table, because Aunt Ellen was coming to tea and she wanted her table to look nice and attractive. "Janet dear, run and pick some daffodils for me," she said. "Oh, brother, will you please go?" said Janet. "Well, perhaps Dan will go," said Mother. But Dan was far too busy. Rosie jumped up and said, "Never mind, she will go." So down the garden she went to pick some large bunch of daffodils. She arranged them so beautifully in a vase and put them on the table. As she did so, she stepped on Janet's toe, quite by accident. "Oh, you clumsy girl!" cried Janet. "Look where you're going. I won't lend my new wheelbarrow if you're not careful." "Sorry," said Rosie. "You shan't take your feet so far." That night, everybody forgot to put Sandy the dog into his kennel, and Mother suddenly remembered, just as it was the children's bedtime. "Oh dear," she said, "we've forgotten Sandy. Who will take a torch and put him inside his kennel for me?" Dan said nothing. He didn't like the dark. Janet thought it was raining, and she didn't want to go out. So Rosie thought she had better find the torch and go to take Sandy, or else Mother would have to do that. "You are very selfish," she said to Dan as she went to find the torch. "You just don't do anything for Mummy. If you're going to talk with me in this manner, I won't let you use my new shovel when Daddy brings it from me," said Dan sharply. "I don't care," said Rosie. "I shall have my new watering can." She found the torch and ran out in the dark with Sandy. It wasn't raining, and there was a lovely moon. So she didn't need the torch after all. Sandy went back into his kennel and curled up his blanket. The next day, Kitty was very naughty. She jumped up on the table when nobody was in the room and began to drink the milk out of the jug there. When Janet came into the room, Kitty was frightened and jumped down, but her claws caught the tablecloth and down it came and all the tea things with it. The milk spilled all over the floor and the jam pot was broken. Oh, what a mess of plates and milks and jams! Mummy, Mummy! Shouted Janet. Kitty has knocked over all the tea things. Oh, Janet! Cried her mother. What a mess! Do you clear up this mess like a good girl? Because I'm in the middle of putting up new curtains in your room and I just want to finish them. Janet looked at the mess and avoided. Why should I have to clear up the mess which Kitty did? She was just going out to play and cleaning will take a lot time. Then she saw Dan coming in and she called him. Dan, look what Kitty's done. I'm just going out and Mummy wants all this cleared up. Will you do it? And before Dan could say yes or no, the naughty little girl had run out to play next door. Dan stared at the mess and forewarned, I'm jolly well not going to clean this. He thought, why should I? Mummy will easily clear it up when she comes down. So Dan slipped out too and went to play with George, who had a new railway set over the road. Soon Rosie came in, and when she saw the dreadful mess all over the dining table, she got shocked. Oh dear, she said, I suppose Kitty has done this. I better clear this up, things in case Mummy comes down and gets upset after looking at this. So Rosie picked up all the tea things, wiped up the spilled milk and the jam, and tried to mend the jam pot with glue. Then she washed up all the dirty things and cleared everything away neatly. Mother didn't came downstairs until all the children were back again and were sitting at the table doing their homework. She was so pleased when she saw the upset tea table was cleared away. Thank you, Janet, she said gratefully. It was good for you to clean up all this mess of spilled milk and jams and put everything away. Janet was red. I didn't clear it up, Mummy, she said, surprised. I told Dan to do it. I was just out. Then it was Dan's turn to get red, for Mother turned towards him and said, Thank you, Dan dear. That was very kind of you. I didn't did it, said Dan, but he wished he had. I did it, Mummy, said Rosie, looking up from her spelling. It didn't take me a minute for cleaning up the mess. Oh, you're a real help to me, Rosie, said her mother, and she kissed her. Janet and Dan were still red. They wished that she had kissed them too. Well, the next excitement was Father was coming home again. The three children were all at the window watching for the car. At last it drew up at the gate. Janet said in delightment, Look at the parcels in his back. I can see my wheelbarrow with its one wheel sticking out, and it's got a rubber tire on. And I can see my handle of spade, shouted Dan, running out the door. And I can see my spout of watering can, cried Rosie. And out they all ran to welcome their father. He came in with all the presents and his suitcase. He hugged everybody and asked Mother how she was. Splendid, and all the spring cleaning is done. So I have had a good week. And have the children helped you? Mother looked rather solemn. Well, she said, I've had a lot of things done for me. I ran out of soap powder and somebody ran down the street and fetched it for me. Good, said Father. Who was that? "Rosie," said Mother, and Father gave her a hug. "Then I wanted some daffodils for Aunt Ellen," said Mother, "and somebody did them most beautifully for me, without a single grumble." "Fine," said Father, looking at Dan and Janet, was wondering which of them was. Who was that?" said Father. "Rosie," said Mother, and Rosie got another hug. Then Mother went on, and one night we forgot all about putting Sandy into his kennel, so somebody got the torch and went out to put him in his kennel. "Splendid," said Father. "I wonder who was that?" "Rosie," said Mother, and Rosie got a kiss. And another time Kitty jumped on the table and upset all the things on the floor, said Mother. "Somebody cleared them all, without being asked though." "The somebody who was asked to do it did it." "And who was the somebody who did it without being asked?" said Father. "Was it Rosie again?" "It was," said Mother, and Rosie got such a big hug that she lost her breath. "Rosie had been the greatest help to me, but I'm afraid of the others haven't really tried. Isn't a pity?" "A great pity," said Father, undoing the 3 lovely presents he had. "I'm afraid Rosie must have all the garden things. Rosie, here is your shovel, and the wheelbarrow, and the watering can, with my love, and the best thanks for being good to your mummy for while I'm away." Janet and Dan burst into tears. "But Daddy, you promised you'll bring for us those," wept Janet. "Yes, I promised to bring the presents," said Daddy, "but I didn't say who was going to have them, and as you all have done nothing to deserve them, Rosie must have them all, as Rosie did all the work. But she's really a most unselfish girl, for she lets Dan use the lovely big shovel, and she lets Janet have the wheelbarrow whenever she asked for it. Don't you think that's nice of her?" So the moral lesson we learn from this story is kindness and helpfulness gets rewarded.